it's like to hold your wrist steady, right? Well, yep. It's like a, what you call that? It's like a...
It's an arm guard, that's what this is.
Arm guard.
Because sometimes that strength snatches.
Yeah, I'm used to my equipment, so that's why I haven't worn it. Sometimes certain shooters, they won't wear it because they're accustomed. But sometimes a shot goes awry, or they get tired because after a while, you're shooting for like an hour or more, you get fatigued, and after a while, your shots start to suck. So it happens. So you can wear a wristband as an arm guard. So the idea, and I'm sweating because I'm going to let somebody else use the arm guard. But the idea is that when you're holding your bow and you draw, when you release the string, it can smack your arm. So that's the purpose of the arm guard.
I think that's why the Japanese, when they do it, they go like that. You ever seen it? When they go like this, and then when they shoot, the whole bow goes backwards.
Well,
it goes like this.
They flick it out.
Sure.
It goes like that. Like, let's say they pull it, and then once the arrow goes, the whole thing flips this way. Oh, I got it. It flips like that.
I'm not exactly sure why they do that technique. I know I've seen video of Olympic shooters, in particular the Koreans. But it became what's called a follow-through.
Right.
Because follow-through is part of shooting. It's actually one of the last ingredients. When you go through the whole process of how to shoot in archery, follow-through is the last, sometimes ignored, part of shooting. Because you can release an arrow, but if and when you release all that pressure on the string, like your arm could just move briefly, and then that just changes the trajectory of your shot.
Just by a little centimeter.
So you have to train yourself that when you hold that anchoring position and you aim, and you're about to release that, once you release that arrow, you maintain that position. You want to be able to make sure that you're looking at where you're shooting to guarantee the flight that you want. Okay?
I have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry, I got a lot of questions.
That's good.
So I also seen too some places that they don't use their fingers. They don't use their fingers. They use like a thing like it's like a
release aid.
Yeah, it's like it clamps like that.
Yeah, it's a release aid. And I'm glad that you asked me that question because I had to tell my son. My son shoots a compound bow. And in order for you to shoot, now earlier models of compound bows, you were able to draw them back. But some of these bows have such high draw weights. They go upwards of 70 pounds and more. So the interesting thing about the compound bow is that when you pull back, they have those cams, those wheels, so it helps to lock it out and helps you to hold that strength until you're ready to release. And so there's, over here if you notice, this is a knocking point. This is where whenever I'm drawing, and I'm drawing my arrow from my quiver instinctively. So when I'm positioned to shoot, I just grab my arrow. And then, which again, this is all part of what I'm going to be sharing with you guys. When you go to knock your arrow, you notice that there's an opposite color. Okay? This is called the cock feather. It's also known as the index feather. And you want to make sure that when you knock it, the index feather is facing you.
Which is the white.
So therefore, when I'm holding it, the index feather, the odd color feather, is pointing on the same side as the arm that's holding the bow. Part of the other reason also is if you notice the other two arrows, feathers, excuse me, they're lined up with the wall of the riser. Okay, the riser is the area from here to here, and it's the handle part of the bow. Okay, so you want these two feathers to fly against the wall of the riser, and then since in this particular, minus the longbow, all of the other three bows have a arrow rest where the arrow rests on. So as the arrow flies, look at when how flexible it flexes, and it flies right through.
And then this It has to go in between.
Yeah, when you
in
knock
between
it,
the bits.
listen very carefully, when you knock it, and that's
between the
another important thing about shooting. When you place it, and this is a knocking point, this is where you know where you have to knock your arrow to make sure that your arrow is perfectly aligned before you shoot. When you place your arrow on the string, you pull it back until you hear a click, right?
Right.
And then you place it on the rest, and then you proceed with your shooting process. All right?